Today on Lead with AI, I'm talking with Scott, the creator of Convo Lang, a revolutionary framework that transforms conversations into code. It's where imagination meets precision, where every sentence can become software. If you've ever wondered how developers will build with AI, not just for it, this is the episode for you. Let's get into it. Welcome to Lead with AI. I'm Dr. Tamara Nall. In each episode, we will take you behind the scenes with visionary leaders shaping the future of AI across public and private sectors. Join us as we explore groundbreaking projects and innovations that are transforming industries and making a real impact on people's lives. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. It is Dr. T, your host with Lead with AI. And as always, I like to start with the good stuff. So as you know, we hit #1 in technology on Apple Podcasts. Woo! And then also, we recently found out that we won a W3 award for our interviews and our discussions with Lead with AI. But I have to say, it would not be possible without great guests like the one we have today, and I'm excited to get into it. Welcome, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Tamara.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into it because as soon as I researched and found out about Convo Lang, I was like, oh my God, I got to get him on the show. So thanks for being here. So first, just kind of tell us a little bit about who you are at your core. What's your passion, and how did you even come up with the idea that Convo Lang was needed?
Yeah, so I'd say at my core, I'm a creator. Happen to have been doing development software for the last close to 25 years. But in general, I love to build things. Whether it's on the computer or I love to do woodworking. Love to work with my hands as well. But
okay, I gotta ask, did you do any of that in the background? Because there's a lot of nice woodwork in your background.
yeah, I did it all.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, where are you, by the way?
Just a little bit north of Cincinnati.
Okay, in Ohio.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so the wood is popping.
Oh, thank you. Actually about to sell this house, and I'm going to build a new one.
Oh, wow. And you're going to build it, or are you going to have somebody else build it?
Yeah, and I'm going to build it, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay, I digress, but keep going. So you love to build.
Yeah. So like I said, I've always been into making developer tools. So oftentimes I'll start on a project and just find a more efficient way to do things. So obviously as AI started to take over everything, I found there was just a lot of repetition. A lot of it just came down to like basic things like formatting prompts, converting those prompts into like a structure that you could feed to the model. So that was kind of what sparked the idea of Convo Lang. And it originally just started out as kind of like a small library that I used in a lot of my projects. But then I realized as it started to progress, it really became a tool that kind of encompassed almost all the parts of developing an AI application.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I took the time to kind of break out the code into a separate repository, do better documentation on Convo Lang. And really started telling people about it. As I found that most models, if you're not very clear with the way that you define your prompts, and you're kind of vague with things, they don't give you the best output. So that was a lot of what Convo Lang was about, was becoming a better context engineering tool. And I think that's the real key is Convo Lang itself. It's not an AI model. It's really just the format. It gives you a really clean, plain text format to do really good context engineering. So
I know our geeks out there totally understand it, but for those of us that aren't techies, explain to us. So, I basically can build an AI tool just based off like conversation. Is that what it is, or?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's a little bit lower level. I think one way to, I guess, connect to the way that a lot of people use AI is, almost everybody's familiar with the ChatGPT interface.
Right.
So when you hear someone talk about context and context engineering, What's happening in the background when you send a message to ChatGPT, it's going to take your message and it's going to basically, it's going to add it onto this list of all the messages, that you've sent to ChatGPT. And those messages and also the response from ChatGPT, that becomes the context of your conversation. So if you ever hear about context window, the context window is basically just, how many of those messages that the AI can process in one shot. And one thing that you have to understand is every time you send a message to an AI or an LLM, every single message gets resent and gets reprocessed. So you eventually kind of run out of room. And that's where a tool like Convo Lang is really important because it allows you to get the most out of that context. You can be a lot more exact in the way that you feed information to a model. And it also kind of exposes really what's going on in the background. Because again, if we look at ChatGPT, you just see these message bubbles that pop up on your screen. Everything's just plain text. So you see every part of the response from the model. You can add in additional data that's kind of outside of the vision or outside of the context of the LLM. Allows you to kind of do better tracking. But it's a really powerful tool for keeping your prompts organized and the information that you're going to feed into the LLM.
Got it. And is this in the background or is it kind of in the forefront? Like, can I, if I'm using Convo Lang, can I see, these silos or, how it's kind of grouped or categorized, or is it all in the background and it's just happening?
Yeah, it's mostly in the background. There are some additional libraries for Convo Lang that I maintain that allow you to build, that chat conversation view. So with that, if you're, this would be a little more for like the developer-oriented crowd. There's some templates and common frameworks that you can just spin up, and then it gives you the UI for like a chat window, and then sets up everything for Convo Lang to be able to use in those projects. So a little bit of UI, but
goodness. Amazing. So talk to me about a time where someone actually used Convo Lang and it was jaw-dropping for them. It was like, blew their mind. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I actually work pretty closely with a gentleman that works for Syntax Data. And, he started using the tool as a way to do early prototyping for application creator building with AI. And I think the moment that he realized like what the tool could do, really, got him on board because, a lot of the AI tools that you use, when you send a message, that message kind of goes off out of nowhere, and then you'll get a response back, but you don't have a good history of the conversation. With Convo Lang, every interaction that you have with the LLM, it gets stored in a local file that you can review. You can start to understand like how an AI got to a decision that it made. So it makes for a really good system to to keep track of those interactions.
No, that's good because you are right. It can be lost, some of the conversations. So this sounds amazing. And then talk to us, because I'm going to tell you, my listeners are very curious. Like, we're nosy. You can call it curious or nosy. You pick the word. But we want to know how it works. So if we were to lift up the hood and look at the brain of Convo Lang, what will we see?
Actually, that's kind of the beauty of it. So, like, with a lot of AI systems, everything's really complicated. Convo Lang it's really simple. It's really kind of brought down to earth. So, the first thing you would see, if you looked into, a program that's using Convo Lang, you would see Convo Lang files. They're just text files. They're kind of formatted, basically like with a line that says, is it the user that's talking, so the human, or is the AI or assistant that's talking? And that full, list of messages all just stored in a plain text file. But you can also combine it with, more traditional procedural code. So there's a scripting language that you can embed in. But again, it's a really simple scripting language. So, all the stuff that you do with like tool calling and things like RAG and all those complicated features, they all just get written down in this simple text file that's really easy for a person to read. Then once you have that file, you can feed it into the Convo Lang CLI, or it's basically a program that will read that file and then it'll execute it. So it'll send off the data, format it for the AI that you're using, and give you the response back. Actually really, really simple, which is...
Yeah, that's amazing. And okay, so we talked about, your customer, your user, and how they were wowed. Tell us about a time as you, Scott, as a founder, you made an upgrade, a development, and you're like, oh my God, I can't even believe this works. So take us there. If there was a victory dance, you can jump up and do that too. Whatever works for you. But take us to where you were even floored by what you've created.
Yeah, it was actually really recently, and
okay.
When my boss hears this, he's gonna laugh. So along with Convo Lang, I've been making a tool that builds on top of Convo Lang. So it's a language, but it gives you a way to do spec-driven development. So spec-driven development is basically when you want to write an application, you write down all the important parts and like what the application is supposed to do, and you write that down in documentation, and you feed it to an LLM. There's a lot of tools out there to do that. But Make it's a little more prescriptive. I consider it to be like precision context engineering.
Okay.
So basically I use Convo Make, this new tool I've been working on, to basically do my week's worth of work in just a few hours. So I've been working on a new application called MindArc.ai, and we're in the process of redoing the interface. And I admittedly spent a lot more time on Convo Lang than maybe I should. So last week I've really been working on that tool more so than my main job.
Well, you're not telling when this releases.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I basically set up the spec for the application.
Wow.
The entire application, front end and back end, in one shot. I mean, there's some small things afterwards I wanted to tweak, but the actual application functioned as it was supposed to. Including security rules and all the important parts that a lot of like vibe coding tools really mess out on. So I'd say that was the moment where I was like, this is pretty powerful.
That is powerful. And you said that's called Convo Mate?
Yep, Convo Make. Yeah, it's
oh wow, yep. MATE.
MAKE. So
okay, Make. Okay, Convo Make, MAK. Okay, awesome. So we'll look out for that too. That sounds amazing. Now, obviously, what you're doing with Convo Lang is pretty powerful. So how do you look at ethics, and how do you make sure that you stay within some ethical guardrails and restrictions such that, it's remaining moral and ethical and all of that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with AI, it's a pretty tough question. I think, a lot of people try to say that, AI is going to empower people, which it will. It'll empower a lot of people, but unfortunately, there are a lot of people that, won't be needed. So there's definitely, I think, need to have a transition plan for quite a lot of people. I think the people that remain, I think what Convo Lang can do is, provide a little more of a reliable human interface, for working, kind of working more closely with an AI.
Yeah,
because it does help you to really understand what's going on, under the hood, versus a lot of tools that honestly try to kind of use user behavior as a way to train further models.
Okay.
So I think that's, one way that it can help, but it is for sure a really, tough question.
The answer. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. And then talk to us about the big future.
Yeah.
I used to say 5 years from now, but the future could be an hour from now. But in whatever time frame you like to look at it, tell us what is in the future for, Convo, and how Convo Lang, and what we can expect, and how is it going to power what we know today?
Yeah. I'd say, I'd say really if we kind of break it down into short term, as in like the next, year or two, and then the long term. I think short term, working on a lot of features that, really help you, integrate with other types of tools like MCP servers, which are, really critical for, for building like, true deployment ready AI applications. Also working on another, basically a SaaS service that lets you build applications with Convo Lang. Web-based, so you basically be able to describe your application, use the Convo Make tool that I'm working on, and be able to basically, build a production ready app and deployment, pretty much all in, one click and, a couple prompts. So that's probably, I'd say probably the most exciting, near term, piece of the Convo Lang future. Long term, hopefully, Convo Lang, the language, just becomes something that lives in the background that, the app user doesn't really ever know about.
Yeah, no, now that is powerful.
Yeah, but it's just quietly sitting back there.
Awesome. Okay, so the big future for Convo Lang. Now, our guests also like to just like get in there. So if they want to get in there and trial Convo Lang now, what can they do this week to do that?
Yeah. So there's a couple really quick ways to get started. The easiest way is just to go to the Convo Lang website. There's a lot of interactive examples. It's kind of like a mixture between documentation and kind of like a teacher. So you can get on and actually just see what the language is about, use it in some of the examples. If you are more of a developer, you can use the Convo Lang VS Code extension. It'll let you, write Convo Langs directly in the VS Code. And the nice part about that is you can, use any model that you want. So Convo Lang has support for all the major models. You can, basically start writing AI, native applications, just right there, VS Code extension.
Okay. Awesome. We got that. And what's the website?
It's learn.convolang.ai.
Okay. Got it.
Hyphen in between.
Learn. Oh, wait, do it again. Just spell it out for us.
Oh, yeah. It's learn.convo hyphen lang.ai.
All right. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. That's good there. All right. So, I always have this question from one genius to another. So, Scott, your question is, what's an idea you had years ago that the world still isn't ready for?
Yeah. I think it's a slight adaptation for AI.
Okay.
But I think it's language models that are also code interpreters. So like the way that, we use AI right now to write code is, we tell it to basically generate the same code that we've been writing for, decades now. But I think where, it'll be a really big difference is when internally AI models can actually basically evaluate code that is written for AI. I think at that point it'd be kind of tricky to manage, but I think the acceleration of progress of the models could be pretty amazing.
Okay, so when you saw that, we're going to have you back on because we do one episode per product, so we're going to have back on.
Yeah. That's a little hint to another thing that I'm working on.
All right, there we go. So it'll probably be sooner than we think. All right, so let's go into our bonus rapid fire. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to quickly give me your answer, and we're going to keep going like bonus.
Okay.
All right, most overrated tech trend.
Ad hoc vibe coding. So when you see someone say, I wrote this application by a single prompt, and most likely it's an application that's already been written and the AI just kind of remixed it for you.
Okay, well that's, we hear vibe coding, but that is, the ad hoc part is something I haven't heard of. Okay, we got it. What about the most underrated tech trend?
I'd say world models and hardware that's specifically tuned for AI. As we've hit a ceiling right now at compute and hardware power. So it's either one, our models have to advance, or the hardware has to advance. I'd say it'd be the hardware, making that advance that's going to be the next kind of breakthrough.
Got it. And then what's world model?
So right now, most of the models we all use are all considered language models.
Okay.
So they're more trained on, specific language. World models are trained on, images, videos, text, pretty much everything. So they can really be true multimodal.
Got it. Great. Thank you for that. What's a book everyone should read?
Oh, I'm not a big reader.
Okay.
Mainly
Too busy coding and developing.
Yeah.
And building wood.
Yeah. Shoot, man, even that I just kind of pick up and try things.
Right.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not.
If you don't have one, it'll be the first in the history of the podcast that there isn't one, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Go down in history as the first. You good with that?
I'm fine.
All right. All right. Great, Scott. Okay. Last question. And that is, what's your biggest, boldest AI prediction?
I'd say actually probably, feeding back to the, question from the other developers is AI models that can do code interpretation internally. Mm-hmm. That will be, that'll be a real paradigm shift, as right now where we make AI write code, the same way we've been writing it. But once AI can actually write code that's interpreted internally by the AI and it's a format that's more efficient for them, there'll be a big shift in the way the software works.
Awesome. All right. Well, I love it. Well, Scott, I've enjoyed this conversation. I'm sure our listeners have as well. So tell us, what's the best way to, I mean, you mentioned the website, so let's do that again. What are your social media platforms? What are you on LinkedIn? Give us all of that so we can make sure that we're connected. But most importantly, actually start using Convo Lang.
Yeah, definitely. So mostly just on Reddit. Reddit, my Reddit username's IYIOIO. Someone took
Okay.
little funny name, and then there's also a subreddit for Convo Lang, so you can on Reddit. And then I post occasionally on LinkedIn. But yeah, actually not super big on social media. Definitely the best way would be to follow or join the Convo Lang subreddit.
Yeah, and Reddit is a huge platform. I mean, a lot of people are on there and they're like, oh, I don't worry about LinkedIn or anything else. Reddit is the place to be. So for those of you who are not on Reddit, you need to be. And those of you who are, get on there more and definitely look for Scott and Convo Lang. Awesome. Well, Scott, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing and seeing what Convo Lang and Convo Make and all the other things you're developing and see how they're going to change the world. So thank you so much for your time and for being here with us.
You're welcome, Tamara. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone. Until next time, Lead with AI. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Lead with AI. I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the cutting-edge innovations shaping AI across the public and private sectors. Until then, keep leading with AI.